This one's going to be funny because I have a great show lined up for y'all. But I'm gonna keep it basic. I'm gonna play a little bit of Clubhouse 51 games for you, and share some content from other creators. It is that simple. Um, this is going to be another fair use show. Copyright laws and stuff like that. I'm doing it for educational purposes. Um, I'm not really the teenager isn't with me today, so I was going to try to show off OBS because that's which is the open broadcasting software that I'm using or learning how to use. And I just wanted to show the teenagers some different techniques in using this software. But he's not here today, and I needed to make a video because there's a lot of questions out there, and I'm going to make it as interesting as possible, and it should be very entertaining. I'm going to share some PBS today, the public broadcasting system, and I'm going to share some TD Media, formerly TD Hip Hop Media, and there it is. I mean, it is going to be that simple of a show today. I'm not really trying to take it more than 30 minutes. But I mean, stay tuned in. I mean, this is going to be a checkmate type show. But I don't think I'm gonna play chess on this game today. I'm gonna play maybe some Othello. You see on the screen right now. Parcheesi, and the chessboard is right up there, right? I might do some billiards. I might play some pool, or something, just to show it off in the background. Backgammon or something, just to show it off in the background while I share the quick videos and give my little commentary on what the videos are about. It's going to be very interesting, very interesting. We're winding down Black History Month. So it was only right that I shared some, ancient gameplay, I guess. I guess that's why I chose this game, because a lot of these games come from ancient times. And be able to just share the truth. I mean, that's what it's really about. Sharing the truth with you. And, I really hope y'all enjoy this. And I'm about to cut off and I'm going to switch to my arcade for you real quick. Showing off just a little bit of what this software can do. And there it is. I'm in the arcade now. And as you can see, I have my little background, and I think the music might still be going. Is it still going? Let me check here. I got my microphone still going, and actually that cut off the audio in the background. So you're probably just getting dead air and me rapping. So, but it is what it is. Until I get a good mixer and really be able to hook up things the way that I want and be able to control it like a lot of the quote unquote professionals on YouTube do. We're gonna stick it to this way right here and have fun doing it. I'm gonna cut it on a little bit in a minute, the music and everything, and what games that I'll be actually playing. But I just wanted to share this pseudo Venn diagram of the culture and the community. Once again, it's all hip hop to me, but I am kind of re-establishing for those that are constantly using FBA, which is the Foundational Black American. Um, it is the lineage. ADOS is another one that people like to use. American Descendants of Slavery. But I noticed with ADOS, their quote unquote leaders really have issues. FBA, we're not leaderless. I give much props to Jason Black and Professor Black Truth and even Tariq Nasheed. I take Tariq what he is. He's an entertainer. He's a director, entertainer, and he's a part of the Hollywood. But he didn't do it their way. He did it his own way. And whatever tainted past of him being a rapper, et cetera, let him, that's between him and his God or our God, right? But we'll talk more about that as we try to reestablish that hip hop is actually a cultural religion, um, and a queer community, and it's the culture. And who controls what aspect of that is what the war that we're seeing going on right now. And it's funny to me because uh, TD Media, who I'm sharing, he used to call himself, like I said, TD Hip Hop, but he no longer uses that moniker because we've been given, well, the Democrats, to be honest, have been given hip hop such a bad name, and it's purposely done to make claim towards the culture or the community. They even say that DEI was to change the culture. So they trying to be the leaders of the culture, and therein is what kind of distinguished them between them and foundational Black Americans, because we're like, no, 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 no. That's our culture. We're the community, and now it is a fight over, all right, well, who's the community, who's the culture, and I'm been using game theory or the game community, gaming community, as an example of how community culture, they they share things together, but there is a separation of it. That's why I'm kind of using a Venn diagram of sorts to say that just because we're in the same community doesn't mean we have the same culture, and vice versa. Just because we have the same culture doesn't mean that we're in the same community. So therein is the fight between which is hip hop culture and which one is hip hop community. And I facetiously put Foundational Black American as the community and the Hip Hop Alliance as the culture, so that I can better explain the differences between the two and how it all relates to Black community and Black culture. I know that was a little complicated, but not really. It is that simple, and therein is where we have the same dilemma when what's going on with politics. But I'm not going to dive too much into it just yet. What I'm going to share is a fair use PBS. Right now, we all know that a couple days ago, as of time you'll probably see this, Trump had a Black History Month celebration, and in it he named 10 ancestors and Kobe Bryant. There it is. I mean, it was that simple of a show. Tiger Woods was there, and now it's kind of questions of why was Tiger Woods there? Because Tiger Woods was, from my understanding, Trump and Tiger Woods was playing golf together before the Super Bowl or whatever, and that's what he did before the day before or before he had the Super Bowl celebration. And y'all know I'm still geeked up about the Super Bowl. Because my Philadelphia Eagles are now two-time world champions. We are the champions of the world, and when it comes to the National Football League. So there it is. I mean, it is that simple. I've been watching football since before the '80s. I'm a Generation X kid, and I really appreciate what Kendrick did as far as hip hop for the halftime show. I do appreciate what everybody did. Even Master P started off the ceremonies. If we wouldn't forget, he led the marching bands, and I mean hip hop. The whole Super Bowl was a hip hop classic, and my understanding from Master P, who's I think Master P might be a '60s baby. He's a little older than me. I wouldn't. He's Generation X. I don't think he's Generation Baby. I don't think he's a baby boomer. He's young. He's a young man like myself. And Kendrick, the name of his album is GNX, which is kind of a tribute to Generation X. But everybody's we recording these abbreviations, and I'm calling it the Raw acronym wars because they're acronyms. WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment, right? It used to be the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. And NWA was a National Wrestling Association, I think, before we got it. We started to understand it as ninjas with attitudes, which we have to say today because Negro is bad, right? But they we are fighting for the First Amendment again, being freedom of speech. Of course, we shouldn't use derogatory language 24 hours a day. But at the same time, we can't be hypocritical when using simple words or three-letter words like gay and be considered hate speech. Therein is where we're at right now, and it's very ignorant. But we're gonna work past all that. I might have lost a few people there, but y'all kind of see where I'm headed. Um, so instead of sharing Trump's, I was going to share Trump's Black History Month. I said, no. Birdie was like, why don't we go back in time, right? So we're going to go back to 2022, and I'm going to actually share Biden's Black History Month. So bear with me. I'm going to share just maybe 10 minutes of it. But this is going to be 10 minutes of Biden's Black History Month on PBS. I'm going to share a link in the description. It's going to be for fair use. And the topic is the differences between psychological philosophy or philosophical psychology, philosophical psychology, I guess. Warfare, the different types of warfare, and does the order of the psychology and philosophy make a difference in the order pair? Just like ladies and gentlemen, it has a very different meaning than gentlemen and ladies, right? I guess, right? The gentlemen are first, then the ladies. Now, we're used to ladies and gentlemen, but when we're dealing with another community, the LGBT, right? When we're dealing with that community, it's lesbians, gays, and then it's like, okay, that's a different order. And it's more letters than we can handle, but we'll deal with that later on too, because I don't think that month is going to happen this year. Hey, that's the president's prerogatives, but he did celebrate Black History Month and gave us 10, and we'll talk about those 10 this last week. I'm gonna share the 10 elders that he shared, Black elders, and Kobe Bryant is clearly he's a Generation X baby. I think Kobe might have been 77 or 78, so he's a older, millennial, but he's really Generation X if you want to take 1960 to 1980 as the 20 years of Generation X's. That's what I'm just doing now. All of this, Barack Obama was born in 1960 or 61, so he's a baby boomer. Nah, he's Generation X. It's people want me to give him extra respect, but he was clearly disrespectful, and I shared videos about that on how disrespectful he is to his younger brothers, which like myself is Generation X, when it comes to the hip hop culture, because we're the ones that gave him the brush the shoulder off your, the dust off your shoulder, and that's how he won the election, to be honest. And he turned his back on us, and that's why Kamala lost. But we'll talk more about that after I share this video. And I hope y'all enjoy it. And I'm going to mute myself while it's playing. And I'll play a little video game in the background like I normally do. So I hope I ain't take up too much of your time with that long introduction. I just wanted to make sure it was a clear understanding where we're heading. This is very entertaining, especially after you watch it again. If you watched it 2 years ago. And then, ironically, 2022 was the year that I noticed that they were running the Joe, and I called it the Joe Obama 1984 reference, great book, but the Ministry of Truth, quote unquote, right? And we'll talk more about that as one of the great books, written in 1984. That along with Animal House. My son is only 13. There's really no reason for him to read, really study those type books yet. Even Shakespeare is you have to kind of go back into the old English. And the same with the we're just starting with the Constitution, and the First Amendment is the one that we're working on, and we're sharing that with y'all. So we love sharing all this historical information, and let's have fun doing it and going over it, because history was I was pretty good at history, but mathematics has always been my strong point. So enjoy my rediscovery of what my friend Akil Parker calls hystematics. It is using mathematics to have a better understanding of history, mainly by looking at the dates and measuring the distance between the dates as like a generation is considered 20 years, I guess. But we will work on all that too as we continue on. Okay, so no more hesitation. I'm not hesitating. I just want to get all that in, and I took up enough of your time for that. Um, One day I'll time mark all these things, and that way you can just go straight to it. But for now, thank you for your attention, and I'm gonna get on with the video. Give me 1 second, okay? In 3, 2.
Well, good afternoon. Wow, there is just so much love in this room. Gosh, Joe, Kamala, Doug, and I are honored to be with you for our very first in-person White House Black History Month celebration. It's great to see so many good friends here with us in the residence. And thank you to DJ D-Nice. Where is he? Ah, there you go. Your club quarantine brought us so much joy during the dark moments, and we are so grateful to have you with us today. So thank you for being here. I know before we came out, Kamala and Doug were saying how many times they were in their apartment and they were dancing together, party of two. I can't say the same of Joe, but party of one. The history of our nation, the history of African Americans who helped build our nation, is cataloged in the tangible milestones and moments and trials and triumphs. We remember the names of those who shaped the course of our country and whose hands have written the story of America. Many of those hands belong to you. Yes. Those who have crafted our laws and dismantled injustice, who have penned our poetry and painted our dreams, who have taught the children who will lead us into the future and flown to the heavens to touch our stars. And yet there are threads stitching our history together that can't be captured by books. The laughter that gives us strength when the world feels hard or hopeless. The joy we find in shared purpose and acts of kindness, and the friendships that restore our faith in the world. That's what we celebrate today. A history as beautiful and diverse as our nation, as strong as the voices who continue to demand justice. A legacy driven by love for one another and hope for a brighter future. A heritage cemented by faith, friendship, and joy. Friends, we are honored to welcome you to the White House today. We are honored to share in the happiness of this celebration, and we are humbled to stand with you as we all work for a better future together. Thank you. As many of you know, our vice president's historic path to the White House began before she could even walk, marching with her parents in the civil rights movement, or at least being pushed in a stroller. Since then, she has dedicated her life to pursuing justice and opportunity for all. She is a partner to Joe, especially on issues like voting rights, and is proud to be the first but not the last. Ladies, ladies and gentlemen, the vice president of the I just said that to make you laugh. The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Dr. Biden. Thank you. Please have a seat, everybody. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is so good to meet so many folks and to see so many folks. It's nice to be together under one roof together, isn't it? And of course, it is an honor to be here with our incredible President, Joe Biden. First Lady, Dr. Joe Biden, and the second gentleman of the United States, my husband, Doug Emhoff. It is wonderful to be here this afternoon, joined by the most esteemed members of the Congressional Black Caucus. And as a former member of the CBC, I know firsthand that the members of the CBC are truly the conscience, not only of the Congress, but of our country. Thank you. Thank you also to all the clergy joining us today who continue to lift the spirits and the condition of so many people in our country. And to the community organizers who work day in and day out to make a difference in the lives of all people in our nation. We are so grateful for you. And we are gathered then at a critical moment in the history of our nation and our world. A moment in which our democratic principles have come under threat. Today, the eyes of the world are on Ukraine and the brave people who are fighting to protect their country and their democracy. And their bravery is a reminder, a most recent reminder, that justice, equality, and freedom must never be taken for granted by any of us. So friends, Black History Month was established to teach the history that too often has not been taught. The history of Black excellence and leadership in America. And also the history of resistance and resilience in America. And we are clear, Black history is American history. It is living, breathing history. History we create every day. And today, of course, our nation faces many great challenges. Among the greatest is the assault on the freedom to vote. The freedom from which all others flow. It will take an all-hands-on-deck approach to safeguard and strengthen the freedom to vote, and the President and I are committed to securing that freedom, as is everyone here. And that is why I felt such pride and such hope understanding how votes lead to action through elections. It is why I felt such pride and such hope this past Friday when President Joe Biden nominated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to sit on the United States Supreme Court. Because as we all know, elections matter. And when folks vote, they order what they want, and in this case, they got what they asked for. I went off script a little bit. And Judge Jackson, of course, will make a phenomenal justice. She is brilliant. She has a brilliant mind and a record of excellence. A record that proves she will administer equal justice. And I don't have to tell everybody here, she has been confirmed on a bipartisan basis 3 times and deserves, therefore, a swift confirmation now. And Judge Jackson will be the first Black woman to sit on our nation's highest court. And as Dr. Jill Biden mentioned, it is with that spirit also that we know she will not be the last.
All right. And did it pop back in? And then you see the Pac-Man jump right in. See, it's working as I'm planning it out. That's actually me playing Pac-Man on the, I'm playing a version of it. But to do I really have to piggyback off of what we just saw? I think so, because it's like we didn't get it. We still don't get it, right? But I think we do get it. It's just that the internet is full of so many trolls that all they want to do is counter argue, right? They want to, clearly, that was just and that's just the beginning of it. I might share I'll share some more maybe later on this week, just to compare and contrast. It was clearly an event of self, right? You know what I mean? Promoting themselves to win again in I guess that would have been the midterm. He was preparing for the midterm elections. And then 2024, because that's what the whole narrative was about. It's like, how important voting was, and this is what we asked for. But I didn't vote for Joe Biden. Yes, in 2016 I voted for Jill Stein. Then in 2020, Trump was already the president. It's like I was telling everybody, listen, just stick it out for another 4 years. We have to come back with a better game plan. This was their game plan, their narrative. Ketanji Jackson is a non-binary, right? And she's non-binary. She's Black, I guess, Trump actually defined what Black meant in his thing, because he just by putting Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and the third name that I use is Carter G. Woodson. Now, he didn't mention Carter G. Woodson, but it's understandable. Like, he only get to choose 10 people, and he chose the 10, or whoever gave him the 10 people that he gave. But those two, and then Carter G. Woodson, that third one, that's Black History Month, right? Carter G. Woodson is he's considered the first Black historian. He's the father of Black history, right? He created the Negro History Week. He created it the first week in February to coincide with Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass birthdays. Frederick Douglass, we don't know his official birthday, but they knew it was around February or so, because he was an ex-slave. The exact data on births is kind of new because slaves were considered property, and we still dealing with the First Amendment. It's the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, which gave ex-slaves birthright citizenship. That's not to say that there weren't black noblemen that had, or Negro noblemen that had slaves too. We understand that. Therein is the counter argument for reparations, yada yada. We'll deal with that one thing at a time. What's most important is the history that Trump presented versus whatever that was. That was a celebration of themselves, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and she should have known better. But this is the state. I mean, it was clearly Jill Biden's party, and Kamala Harris was playing a role because she's not African American; she's more Indian American, right? But that's Middle Eastern or Asian American than foundational Black American. She's not foundational Black American. Neither is Barack Obama, and it shows because they're more concerned with immigration, and the way they wanted to fix immigration was by allowing way more people to come in legally and having them leapfrog foundational Americans, foundational Black Americans, which is what I am, as there's the students overseas, they have better qualifications to receive the education that we are offering as a nation, as exchange students, et cetera, et cetera. So these are things that we're still working on, and being a foundational Black American, no, we're tired of having all these immigrants come in and stepping above us, because that's what's been happening since the 1960s. And that's what's completely destroyed our community. And, hip hop is a worldwide culture now. And people should still be looking at foundational Black Americans and thanking them for such a creative, beautiful culture. It's an American culture. It was created in the Black community. Does that exclude Hispanics, Puerto Ricans? No, it doesn't. It doesn't exclude Dominicans. It doesn't exclude Haitians. But foundational Black Americans, we deserve our props. And that's what Trump did. Trump gave us props by making Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington 2 of the 10 elders that he gave us as being the foundational Black Americans that we need to honor. And Kobe Bryant. I don't hate Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's my young boy. Kobe Bryant, when I was in college, Kobe Bryant was at Lower Marion or Upper Marion. My man Big Al, one of my, rest in peace to Big Al, went to that same school. Did he go to Lower or Upper Marion? I'm trying to think now. I know Al went to either. There's two of them, and Al went to one of my roommates, Big Al. He went to one of them, and so it was kind of here's AI, but I mean that Allen Iverson. We were more into Allen Iverson back then, because we used to Georgetown and I mean it was watching something amazing going on when seeing Allen Iverson, and here's Kobe Bryant. They giving him as much props, and he's a knucklehead still in high school, So that's why we Yeah, and then the Sixers picked Allen Iverson first, is why we always AI, over Kobe Bryant, and some of the things that Kobe used to say in distance, side distance city. He's a Laker, so he's supposed to side distance, but turned out to be one of the greatest. We give Kobe his props. He's he's Michael Jordan 1A, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even really put Michael Jordan number one, so it's whatever. But there it is. We'll have more debates about sports and who's the GOAT and all that later on. But Ketanji Brown being that scared me. It still does, because experiencing her go before the Congress and having an opportunity to give a speech on par with Isabella Bumfree, aka Truth Sojourner, and to drop it by saying, I can't define a woman, or, I can't, right? It was her turn to say, I am a woman, right? And instead she gave a non-binary response. So Trump simply saying there's only two genders, right? That kind of goes against what she didn't say, what she should have said to represent the black women, just like, they tried to big her up during that, whatever that was, for Black History Month, the first Black History Month in 2022 or whatever. So, all right. So now I'm going to go to TD Media Hip Hop. I know I'm eating up a lot of time. As y'all can see, I'm playing this pool game. It's pretty cool. Kind of goes with the dropping in the back set. And if y'all can say it however y'all want to say it. But I'm gonna share this TD Media Hip Hop, and he's gonna break down a little bit more about Jasmine Crockett. So now we're talking about the millennials, the younger generation of quote unquote hip hop. But they lack fatherhood, and that's the biggest problem going on today, is these youngins getting quote unquote leadership positions, and they're being used to be the leaders of the culture. But generation, and that's where Kendrick gets, because Kendrick gives respect to Generation X. I'm not going to diss my elders, is what Kendrick is doing. Jasmine is disrespecting her elders. She's very disrespectful, and I'm just keeping it 100, right? Kendrick has been humble to God, so yeah, he can diss Drake. Drake's a young punk too, right? But Kendrick has consistently humbled himself before Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, EPMD, right? You don't hear him dissing none of his elders, even LL Cool J, right? He don't go after none of the elders, the Generation X. I'm stay with my generation, right? So the even like, I don't even think he dissed Weezy, and Weezy might be 80. I don't know, how old is Weezy. Weezy's kind of his elder, I think, but Weezy has a purple pill problem, That's why Weezy shouldn't have been on. Kendrick did a great job, and I appreciate him and thank him for doing that. So now me and my son have an understanding of what hip hop really is. There it is right there, son. You hear how he said how much $1 really costs? The question is detrimental, paralyzing my thoughts, parasites in my stomach, got my gut feeling for you. I can spit some Kendrick. Yeah. When the light goes off and it's my turn to settle down, the main concern, promise that you will sing about me. Promise that you will sing about me. That could have been hotter than Prince's Purple Rain. Keeping it 100 with you. Keeping it 100 with you. But we're going to get on to that too. So here's some TD Media Hip Hop. Fair use, fair use, fair use. And I'm going to turn that off, and I'll be back.
to the channel. And most importantly, please make sure you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we have to speak about Representative Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I don't know what the Democrats are doing, but for some reason, Jasmine Crockett has been everywhere on every DNC mainstream media channel, and talking some more. And every time she talks, she sounds completely ridiculous, speaking nothing but pure nonsense. I'm not sure why they're going down this road, which is a losing road. They're betting on Jasmine Crockett. It seems like to be the new face of the Democrat Party. They clearly haven't learned anything from Kamala Harris and their past defeat against Donald Trump, the landslide. They clearly haven't learned anything. And this is only going to ensure that the DNC will be losing many more elections for years and years to come if this is the road they intend to go down. Jasmine Crockett, without a shadow of a doubt, has to be the most anti-American person in Congress. Has to be with what we're getting ready to listen to today. Because yesterday, while she was on the Breakfast Club, she was actively rooting against America while being for Canada and Mexico. But before we get into that, what I want to do right now is play this for you here. A few days ago, I'm going to say maybe 2 days ago, something like that, Jasmine Crockett held a Know Your Rights town hall, right? And I put that in air quotes because these Know Your Rights town hall translation, in my opinion, it's how to evade ICE town hall, right? That's really what this is. If you're an illegal immigrant, here are some tips to evade ICE and how to get around capture from Tom Homan. That's what this is. And here's a snippet of some of what they were discussing. And I want you to hear how Jasmine Crockett is going to refer to, I believe it is the Lake and Riley Act, as stupid, if I'm not mistaken. The Lake and Riley Act is stupid. Let me just play this for you and then I'll give you my take on it.
This makes me so mad. Don't fall for this.
So yeah, it went to commercial, and then I'm gonna jump right into the second half of it. Um, but there it is. I mean, he about to dig into it. But TD he's a very entertaining guy. He does more political content. His whole station is set up. He does do some Terry. I think his name might be Terry. I don't know, but Terry Time or whatever. He does another. He has a couple stations. He tries to keep it straight. Uh, Politics, media, like a new. He tried to be a newscaster. His station is very popular. I'm more so a game theorist, mathematician. So I do want to do more formal mathematics and stuff like that. And I'm rambling a little bit right now. I already gave y'all 40 minutes. So I'm going to play the second half of it, and then he's going to give his little spill on Jasmine Crockett, who really needs to learn her place. She's completely out of control, but so is the whole Breakfast Club thing. Especially Charlemagne. Charlemagne the dog. Does he lost a lot of points, and my one memory is Beanie Siegel going to the show and telling you, I mean, you be playing with fire, dude. It's dangerous what you doing, son. Like, shout out to Beanie, right? Siegel. And being in Philadelphia, I understand exactly what he's talking about. Like, you do, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to explain my growth in understanding politics, and I'm sharing my teaching of my son how politics actually work. There is logic to it. There's algebra to it. There's logic to it, and it's theoretical mathematics to it. So we're gonna get more into the art of logical thinking or the laws of reasoning. But let me share the second half of this, and then I'm done. You know. You know.
A lot of times the law pretty much says when it comes to domestic violence that if law enforcement is called out and if both people are still there, then a lot of them have a policy that they have to take someone in, especially if the accusations are quite serious. And part of that is supposed to be out of protection, right? But sometimes they just take whoever because they don't know who it is that they believe really perpetrated it. But it is my understanding that that actually may start a process of removal, even if it is a victim, which is why people like, say me, did not vote for this stupid act, even though I surely hate what happened to Laken Riley. But the Republicans have decided to really gas people up by using, say, a victim's name and making people look like they're the devil because a victim is listed on this bill. But the reality is that it's not about what happened to the victim. She wasn't a victim of domestic violence. This was someone that ended up being harmed by somebody she didn't even know. But they decided to do it because they want to make it an emotional thing. If anybody knows the story, and they're counting on people not looking into the minutia, but as an elected representative on the federal level, it is my job to understand how this bill will impact real people's lives. And I don't see how this won't be disastrous, especially since we've already discussed that if someone say,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's enough. That's enough. She's not even making sense. I don't even understand what she's trying to articulate right now. But you have to be just egregiously tone deaf to utter out of your mouth the Lake and Riley Act is a stupid act. The Lake and Riley Act is an act that would, if an illegal immigrant commits a crime of any sort, it doesn't have to be a violent crime. You could have stole a Snickers bar. You steal a Snickers bar and you're an illegal immigrant, you're getting detained and off you go. How anybody can be against that, I don't know. Because I know for sure if I broke into your house illegally and you caught me stealing something, you would definitely want me detained and removed from your home immediately. So, why, when it's the other way around concerning illegal immigrants, this is an issue? I don't know why. But as she's saying that what she believes happened to Lake and Riley was awful, she doesn't care what happened to Lake and Riley. Just like she doesn't care what happened to what's the young girl's name, Jocelyn Nungary. They can't even fix themselves and fix their mouths to utter these people's name. They can care less about what has happened to the countless victims, those who have been removed from this earth, those women who have been violated, as I say, children who have been violated. You all know what I mean when I say violated, I mean the R word. People that have been brutally beaten, robbed. I mean, they can care less about any of this. And to be this tone deaf to say something that stupid just leaves me just confused and scratching my head as to why the Democrats are insisting on pushing this woman forward as their newest representative when she's this much of a dunce. I mean, like I said, the tone deafness of everything that she's saying is unbelievable. But it doesn't stop there. We all know about the tariff war going back between, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we're all very aware and understanding of why Trump is going at Canada and Mexico with the 25% tariffs because they're refusing to play ball and hold up their end of the bargain with securing their own border. Just secure your side of the border. We're not asking for much. Just secure your side of the border as it pertains to illegal immigrants crossing into our country and stopping the flow of drugs coming into our country, which they're smuggling through your border, through your side. Play your part. That's all I'm asking of you to do. Because they give us such a hard time with playing their part, Trump said, okay, listen, if you guys don't want to play your part and just be fair with us, 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada. I think we can all understand this. This all makes sense to us. Okay, we got to do what we got to do. Throw these tariffs on them, right? Because you're allowing the flow of illegal immigrants and drugs into our community at an unbelievable pace. Well, here's what Jasmine Crockett thinks about that. Let's listen to this dunce, airheaded, nonsensical comment coming from Jasmine Crockett when she was recently on The Breakfast Club. Let me play this for you right now. Check this out. This is unbelievable.
Been the one to call it out. The fact that I'm rooting for Canada and I'm rooting for Mexico a lot is really wild, but they are really the ones that are speaking truth to power right now. They can see what it is, and they're.
I'm sorry. I'll start. This woman is stupid. I mean, God. I'm just trying to, I don't want to, I don't want to go crazy and go on a rant and just be just completely off the rails. Let me just play this. Oh, this woman is so dumb. I can't believe that this is who they're pushing as like the head of the DNC now at this point, all throughout mainstream media. Unbelievable. She's rooting for Mexico and Canada. My apologies. We'll take it from the top. It's only 23 seconds long, but let's play this.
Been the one to call it out. The fact that I'm rooting for Canada and I'm rooting for Mexico a lot is really wild, but they are really the ones that are speaking truth to power right now. They can see what it is, and they were like, we are not messing with this crazy regime from Mar-a-Lago, and basically calling them thugs. That's what it is. But I'm like, y'all knew who he was when y'all elected him. So don't act surprised. He's been the one to call it out.
No one's acting surprised. One of this really dumb tactic that Democrats are doing right now, and I'm sure many of you all noticed this already, is they're playing this weird, really dumb game where they're pretending as if those of us like myself who voted Trump somehow have some sort of regret, that we're looking at the things that he's doing and saying, oh man, I didn't know he was going to do all this. No, he said he was going to do all this, and we supported all of it. That's why he beat Kamala Harris in a landslide. It was a bloodbath. Okay, it was a bloodbath. It was ugly. Kamala Harris never stood a chance. Trash. He's garbage. He said he was going to do all these things, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. That's why he has a 53% approval rating. And all across the board, his approval rating is positive because he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And this is what we voted for him to do. But they keep trying to spin this weird narrative that there's some sort of regret when there isn't. I don't understand how somebody like Jasmine Crockett could be this out of touch and out of the loop. It's really mind boggling, and it just kind of defies logic how you can get on all these public platforms and speak this stupid. And once again, why is the DNC pushing her forward like this? Can it get any more anti-American than this? You're rooting for Canada and you're rooting for Mexico. If you're rooting for Canada and you're rooting for Mexico, that means you're rooting for the country that you live in to fail. You're rooting for the country that you live in to crash and burn. Why would you root for that? Once again, all this stuff defines logic, but I'll leave it there and I'll leave it at that, because I can keep ranting and raving, but then at that point, it'll just get to the point of disrespect where I'm just calling folks out by name and talking about their looks and things like that. So I don't want to take it there. I want to keep it somewhat professional. So we'll end it here. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. But this woman is completely ridiculous and as anti-American as it gets. I guess for her, she wants illegal immigration to be wide open. She wants our country to be flooded with unvetted illegal immigrants and drugs, apparently. And she wants our economy to tank because she wants us to lose the tariff war. Go figure. Anyways, all that being said, that does it for today's news. So thank you guys for joining me today, man. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group to circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. You won't miss a notification if you are following me on Telegram. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.
And there it is, right? So what am I supposed to do? You know, where can I put this one at? I don't even know. I'm gonna try down here, I guess. So I mean, being a true school hip hopper, I see the problem, right? I'm gonna scratch, huh? Oh jeez. I don't know. What else am I supposed to say? You know, I can go all day with this one ball, right? But there it is. It's. I mean, you know, I'm. It's sad what's going on. We got to vote all of them out. Democrats are done. Even Bernie Sanders is quote unquote independent now, and I've been crying about that since what year? I guess was 2016. It was like, Bernie, just go independent, and then 2020, it was I was already done. I was willing to just, hey, just let's rough it out with Trump, because I knew Bernie was going to do the same thing. Like, Bernie, if you really wanted to be the president in 2016, I was saying, Bernie, go independent, and we'll follow you independent. Once he didn't do that, 2020, I knew it was another smokescreen. You know, it's like, Bernie, what are you doing here, right? Why are you wasting our time? That's when I was like, I sent what's her name, whatever her name is, Tulsi Gabbard. That's when I sent her $5. You know, that's you got to put your money up. You got to put your cash up. So I say, I don't like using the term money for. So I sent Tulsi $5 to try to do something, but you know, all she could do was go independent. You know, and that's what she did. She went independent, and then now she's Republican, and we're still going under the narrative of racism in a form called white supremacy, and how they jump sides every time. It's everybody jumps sides except for black people. But the truth is from the turnout that I saw, and in the streets talking to the fellows, those numbers that they gave us are completely wrong. Those statistical numbers of 92% of black women, that's wrong. The statistical data of 83% black men is wrong. Right? 17% voted for Trump or whatever, then 1% didn't show up or whatever. All those numbers are wrong. They're all just estimates, quote unquote, right? It depends on the sample. And I shared with you just now in the PBS the sample of what what Biden thought Black History Month was about. Right? I'll share some more of it, because I doubt if they even came up with a list or anything. And so now all the hypocrites are going, oh, he's giving you statues. He's not giving you reparations. Shut up. That's right. He gave you 10. He said he gave you his top 10. Instead of, okay, now we can study the top 10 and we can share with our children. We can go down there and see those statues. This is Booker T. Washington. This is Carter G. Woodson. Aretha Franklin. That was an interesting one to me. I'm just keeping it 100. Right? I don't think Ruby Bridges was one of them, right? She was a child. That's who they mentioned at the Biden one, though, to compare Kamala, like she was a part of the civil rights movement, and she went and she was in a stroller. Like, why are y'all lying to us like this? Right? And there it is. So I'm done rambling. I gave y'all an hour of this. It's a good show, but we got to be more honest. We got to start telling the truth, right? 2022 was the year that Biden started the Ministry of Truth, quote unquote, right? The mini truth. Where they became the liars, and then telling you that black men, black people, right? Everybody else are the liars. The Republican, the MAGA are the liars. And all Trump did was tell you the truth, right? I'm just trying to go to the Super Bowl. Now they complain, oh, he spent 10 million. It cost 10 million for him to go to the Super Bowl. That's a waste of, like, now we want to complain about all the nickel and diamond, right? When they gave 500 million to right, 2 billion to Oprah, right, or 2 million to Oprah, billions to Ukraine, right? And that was a part of the speech, We talking about Black History. Next thing you know, you talking about Ukraine. I'll rap to y'all later. If y'all still ain't getting it, right? We can, I can present it even better if you want. But y'all gotta start doing your own research. And that whole Divine Nine stuff, y'all. I mean, it's the Divine Nine is supposed to be the senators and the black senators and things like that, not just Kamala Harris. We'll rap to y'all later. This has been another episode from Volathan Modulus Tautology. I'm going to end it on my normal one God, our Father, all the time, hip hop life, love one. That is God is love, hip hop is life. Time is holy. Right? Stop wasting it lying all the dang time. And money, that's nothing more than the fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist, because socioeconomics is the art of making the most out of life, not mammon. Peace.